Hello, welcome to Pandora's Box. Today I'm going to do something very special. I'm not going to be opening any boxes today, no box openings, okay? I'm going to be doing my first ever set review for this channel. And I'm going to begin with Kaldheim. So a little bit of product details. Kaldheim is an expansion of Magic the Gathering. It's actually the expansion number 86. Expansion number 86. Okay, so I'm reviewing the English set. Okay, it comes in various languages. I'm reviewing the English set. The release date was on February 2021, and the set size, okay, total set size is 944 cards. That's not including Kaldheim Commander. 944 cards. That's including all the promos and all the special land cards and the extended arts and the showcase and everything. A little bit confusing, but in total there are 944 cards to collect, and that's including the art cards, the signed art cards, but not including the tokens. So there's a total of 944 cards to collect in Kaldheim. So that's it for the product detail, and I'll go into the set itself. Alright, the first thing I want to talk about, okay, is the vision for the set. So the vision is basically like the concept, what Wizards plan to do for this set, the story, the theme and all this. So in terms of concept, I do think that this is actually very well executed. So this is like a Vikings kind of concept, which is the place is very frigid, the landscapes is very frigid, and then they've got old gods, which is like sort of like very similar to Viking lore. So they've got a god of war and all this. So in terms of concept, I think it's done very well, like even compared to Zendikar Rising. So Zendikar Rising feels like a giant hike through a mountains and forest. But for Kaldheim, it really feels like a grand story. It feels like there are small characters, you know, and even in terms of lore as well. So the story for Zendikar Rising was really weak, but the story for Kaldheim, it is really strong. Of course, the story is not perfect, but in terms of story, at least, right, you can see that there's very good characters, not very good characters. There's effort put into the characters, like for example for Kaya, there's a sort of like a redemption arc for Kaya, and then there's multiple villains, and also it also sets up further storylines with Vorinclex and the Phyrexians, right, for further expansion down the line, for new expansions. So in terms of lore, done very well. In terms of coherency also, how it ties in, how the cards ties into the lore is also done very well. Okay, you can really feel some of the what they intend to do, right, come through the art of the card and all this. The scale is also very, I think in terms of scale, it's also very epic. It's like the base set is like about 280 plus cards, total about 900 over cards. There's a good amount of lands, good amount of characters, good amount of gods and all this, right, to give a very good scale, give a very good imagination to the set as a whole. So the next criteria, okay, that I'm reviewing my set based on is the illustration. So the illustration basically means the quality of artwork, how they use the color. Does the card have flavor? Is it connected to the concept, the theme, and does the vision tie into the cards? So in terms of illustration, I think Kaldheim illustration, I think, is one of the strongest point of Kaldheim. Okay, let's not talk about all the showcase cards first. Okay, even you see that all these normal okay, like for the saga cards, they've got amazing art for the saga cards, and for some of the cards, right, they're actual wood carvings. So the concept is that they actually made they actually imitated Viking wood carvings and use it, and they actually had it done. This is like an actual wood carving, right? And then they took a picture and then they put it on the card. So it's not just illustration, but of course, for illustration wise, in terms of the, of course, Magic's illustration, right? The quality is always there. Magic is top tier. None of the other IPs even come close. In terms of illustration, Magic is always quality of artwork, Magic is always top tier. But the thing is that, does the flavor of the artwork tie into this Viking set, this Kaldheim set as a whole? And the answer to that is yes, definitely. There's a good mix of the gods and everything, and very, very nice snow-covered lands. And of course, the most outstanding portion here, right, are actually the showcase cards. So the showcase cards have a very, very nice kind of the showcase cards have a very nice kind of, old Viking wood carving kind of frame. Very, very beautiful frame. Very beautiful artwork. Okay, and you see some of the art. Okay, like for example, this is one of my favorite art in the set. One of my favorite pieces of art in the set. You see how, so it does have a kind of punk rock, metal rock poster, those musical band poster kind of vibe also. And this actually presents itself very well. So when you collect the cards like this, right, it makes you feel like, wow, this is such an amazing set. They put so much effort into creating the set. So it makes it feel that, wow, this is this makes you feel that, yeah, this really value for money. Look at all the effort. I mean, even if the cards itself doesn't have much value, financial value, of course, I'm going to talk about value a little bit later. So even if the card doesn't have much financial value, in terms of art, to appreciate the artwork, I think this is amazing. And I think that artwork, right, is the strongest aspect of Kaldheim. But of course, there's a few minor pieces, there are a few minor exceptions. So there's a few cards there, right? When you look at it, right, you feel that it feels like leftover artwork from Kaldheim. Okay, which one am I talking about? There's a couple of cards, right? Certain cards are like cards like this, you see, and there's a few cards, right, that look like they are leftover artwork, leftover artwork from Zendikar Rising. So it is not perfect. But of course, at the same time, you get beauties. So beautiful things, exceptional artwork like this. Okay, but at the same time, right, there's a certain number of art, right? Look at this. Doesn't this feels like, certain artwork feels like it comes from Zendikar Rising. So this one does dock the points a little bit. Okay, so this one does reduce some of the commendation, does kind of bring it down a little bit, but this is very, very minor. Overall, in terms of artwork, in terms of illustration, one of the best. Very, very beautiful. Magic art, right, is second to none. The next criteria that I'm reviewing the set based on is realization. So realization is like the implementation of the concept, is the card quality, is the execution of the theme, the lore, the concept, the execution of the flavor text to tie in the concept with the cards itself, print quality, the foiling, and overall effort for the set. So realization gets very, very high points from me here as well. Kaldheim, in terms of implementation, yes, concept to reality here, I think it is very, very well done. Same thing, art quality, flavor text, okay? Flavor text, some of the flavor text, yes, done very, very well. Flavor text all done very, very well, okay? It does give you a sense of the story. It does gives you a sense of theatrics. The flavor text gives you that sense of theatrics, and also the different concepts of the sagas and all these things, right? All complements the concept. So implementation itself, yes, very, very good, extremely well done. Card quality as usual with Magic, quite high, but of course standard. Okay, as standard is the issue with the foiling. It's always the issue with the foiling. That's always the gripe with card quality for Magic the Gathering cards. Okay, but yeah, they do have art cards as well, and art cards are also very, very amazing. Do a very good job of conveying some of the artwork. You see some of the even it doesn't have to be like a mythic or anything. even common cards that most people wouldn't bet an eyelid. So I know a lot of people, when we crack packs, right, we see the common cards, we don't even stop and appreciate the artwork, and then we just set common cards aside, common and uncommon cards aside, and then those are bulk. But even common cards, some of the common cards can be so beautiful, so much effort, right, put into the common cards as well. So I do think it gets a A+, right, for effort also. Okay, not just the rare, the more expensive cards gets the effort. So even common cards gets put a lot of Wizard puts a lot of effort into some of the common cards as well. So in terms of realization, I do think, except for the foil quality, the curling, quality realization gets a very high mark from me as well. The next criteria that I'm going to look at is gacha or gamble. So gamble means the short-term value of the product, the grandeur of the set. Does it have emotional impacts when you open up the cards? Does it give you excitement? Does it give you intrigue? So this factor is very much predicated on the emotion you feel, right, when you open up packs. So it's like when you open up, when you hit the chase cards, do you feel it? So this is the main criteria. And for this one, I think this is a little bit lacking. So there's a couple of chase cards here. Most obvious, right, is like the Vorinclex. So the Vorinclex and the foil Vorinclexes, right, are the big chase cards in this set. But does it give you that the emotion when you open up the cards? I have to say this one pales a bit when compared to like Zendikar Rising. Of course, Zendikar Rising has got box toppers, and they also have foil expeditions. So pulling foil expeditions fetch lands, right, is very satisfying. And unfortunately for Kaldheim, right, there's no cards here, right, that when you open up, when you pull, right, gives you that sense of satisfaction. So Vorinclexes are the chase cards here, and I don't think the short-term financial value for Vorinclex is that high as well. So in terms of gamble, in terms of the gachaness of the set, right, I think Kaldheim also takes a bit of a back seat as compared to the Zendikar Rising. So it gets a bit of a couple of points here. But overall, the gacha value, in terms of the gacha value, right, I still think it's very high because of how massive the set is and how spread out the mythics and rares are. So even unlike some of the other IPs, like for example Cardfight Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon, where within the first box you can get almost all of the base set, and then only within the whole case, right, you only get a couple of special cards within the whole case. So there can be even Pokemon suffers from the issues like this. So like for example, Champion's Path, you can open 4 to 5 boxes of Champion's Path, but you've got most of the same thing within that first 1 or 2 boxes, the ETBs for Champion's Path. So your box 3, box 4, box 5 can feel like you don't even get a single card. So that can get very demoralizing. But good thing about Magic is that a lot of the cards, right, and it is also a very big set. That's another thing, because it's a very big set. A lot of the mythics and rares are very spread out. So you don't get everything in the first few boxes that you open. So even like for example, I've already done 1 case of set and 1 case of collectors and 1 bundle. So the total about 13 openings already. I'm still getting new cards, even though the diminishing return has hit me very hard. I'm still getting new cards, okay, out of every box opening. So I don't get to, I don't feel scammed. I don't feel like I still feel I still feel progress when I'm opening, even after like 10 over boxes. So that's a good thing about the gacha, the gamble element here. So the next criteria that I'm reviewing the set based on is innovation. So innovation means the gameplay, the product itself, the price of the product, how they market the product, how they promote the product, the different card types. So like for example, extended art, showcase, all these. So all these I consider innovation. Okay, it can be third party. So not say third party, it can be outside of this box itself. So like things like prices, like where you can find a product, all this, right, will factor into innovation. So in terms of innovation wise, I don't think there's a lot of innovation here. Okay, of course, in terms of the product, in terms of price, how they promote this, I think they do it very well. Magic does promotions very well. They do a lot of the card reviews and card previews, not review, card previews, right, very, very early to hype up the product. So the engine that Wizards has, right, is humming along very, very nicely in terms of like product previews, in terms of allocation of product, so that all the LGSs, when it launch, right, you can actually get all the products that you want to buy at launch. So in terms of this, yeah, very high marks in terms of this one. In terms of gameplay, for this one, there's always right, for every new set, right, there's always a new keyword. And for this one, the new keyword is boss. So far, I do not play Magic, but I do not personally play Magic, but I do read, do a bit of reading. So what the vibe that I get from boss is that it is quite a strong mechanic. In terms of fun, in terms of newness, I don't think it's that new. Okay, I don't think it's that how would I say? I don't think it's that innovative. Like wow, it feels like a completely different game kind of concept. So maybe in terms of innovation in the aspect of gameplay, maybe it's not so good. Okay, in terms of price, it's about common. We've got the set boxes. We've got the let me do I have additional set boxes? Okay, so in terms of set boxes, yeah, as usual, this is the second time that set boxes has been printed. And also same thing with the collectors. And I think set boxes and collectors boxes, right, are gonna be staple from now on. And in terms of but the thing that I want to really talk about is the card types. So okay, it is sometimes it's very, very confusing. Even like, okay, because like for example, they've got first thing, they've got the normal cards. Okay, this is the normal base set cards. And then after the base set cards, right, they have the extended arts. Okay, then in addition to the extended arts, right, they also have the showcase. So in addition to all the showcase, right, they've got special cards, right, that come from the team set. Okay, the team boosters. They've got special lands, right, that only come in the bundle. They've got promos, right, that only come in the bundle. Promos that only come as a buy a box promo. So, and all of this, right, comes in foil and non-foil. So you get the whole set, and then plus the additional showcase and extended arts and the promos and the special lands, and then you times 2 because there's a base set and foil set. And then you include all the art cards, the 81 art cards and the additional 81 art cards, right, which are signed. And it gets very, very mind-boggling. I'm able to navigate all this because Magic is my number one love. Okay, so I'm able to navigate all this. But to how do I say, a newcomer or third party, or to somebody, right, who is looking to get into Magic for the first time, this is definitely it is. I think it's a barrier to entry. Okay, it is too confusing, and also the way. But at least, right, one good thing about, even though it's confusing, is that the numbering is all there. Okay, the numbering is all there. So as long as we follow the numberings, right, we won't get the collection wrong. So if you want to collect a full set of Kaldheim, right, just follow the numbering. You won't get it wrong. But the thing is that the products are all over the place. Like for example, cards from the team boosters, you can get from set boxes, but you can't get from draft. The lands you can specifically only get from the bundle, you see. And so the art cards only comes from the set boosters. You can't get art cards from collectors. You can't get art cards from draft. So it is in terms of innovation, yes, it's innovative, but I think the innovativeness sort of like came back to bite them in the ass. So in terms, this is I do feel that in terms of innovation, right? Yes, a lot of cards, yes, but this has to be a negative in terms of innovation. The last criteria which I review my set based on is novelty. So novelty is the significance of the product, is the nostalgia, okay, where the product stands in relation to all the expansions before and the long-term value. Remember I was talking about gamble and gacha. So gamble is the short-term value. So novelty is a long-term value of the product. And how easily recognized the product is, how original the product is. So that's novelty. Specifically for Kaldheim here, in terms of novelty, I think it is above average. I think it is above average. Okay. So like for example, in terms of the significance, the set itself, the main significance is that it brings back a lot of the snow-covered lands. The significance is the concept, the theme, the Viking concept. In terms of nostalgia-wise, yes, it's mainly the snow-covered lands. But other than that, I think in terms of nostalgia, it's a little bit lacking also. Because it is completely new set. Wizard is charting a new path for the storyline with Kaldheim. So new cards, new sets. So so that means it scores high for others like Vision, but in terms of novelty, especially nostalgia, a little bit lackluster in terms of nostalgia. In terms of long-term value, I think this is also a little bit lacking as compared to Zendikar Rising. Zendikar Rising has got short-term value because of the Expedition Fetch lands, and Zendikar Rising has got long-term value because, again, of the Expedition Fetch lands. So the Expedition Fetch lands are like it's like a deal breaker. So it's like a cheat code that's inbuilt into Zendikar Rising. So unfortunately, Kaldheim doesn't have this cheat code built into it. Kaldheim doesn't even have box toppers. So they don't have Expedition Foils, they don't have Masterpiece cards, right, to really complement Kaldheim in terms of long-term value. So in this aspect, novelty is a little bit lacking. In terms of recognition, I am also a little bit skeptical. In 2-3 years, do people come back and say Kaldheim is, wow, this is one of the best sets of Magic. I remember the Viking team is amazing. I remember specifically Kaldheim Viking Magic. Will it have the recognition factor of like a Zendikar or Kaladesh or Dominaria or War of the Sparks? Unfortunately, I do not think so, even though the concept is strong, the theme is strong, the storyline is strong, they've got good characters, not bad average plot, good plot actually, I'll say it's a good plot. In terms of recognition, long term, I think this also will take a beating. In terms of originality, I do think that it is original, but I do think it's still like copying. They are still taking the Vikings concept and sort of like adding its own twist into the Vikings concept. So I think in terms of originality is also a little bit lackluster. Unlike, let's say, Zendikar with all the waterfall, the bow islands, waterfall islands and all these things, and all the how the landfall and all this in terms of originality compared to, let's say, Zendikar Rising. Novelty is the originality of Zendikar Rising. I do feel that it's also quite a bit stronger as compared to Kaldheim. So in this aspect, in the aspect of novelty, Kaldheim also sort of lose out a little bit. So that's my personal feeling. So, right. So this is So these are the main 6 criteria, right, that I base my review on. Okay, after going through all the criteria, vision, illustration, realization, gamble, innovation, and novelty, okay, the final grade I give to Kaldheim is 4 stars. 4 stars. It is a very, very, very good set. Very beautiful set. Amazing set. I strongly recommend. If you are looking for something to open, right? Yes, Kaldheim is one of the first things I'll recommend you to open. Specifically, the set boxes. even more so than the collectors. Okay, collectors are interesting, don't get me wrong, but the set boxes gives me I feel that set boxes gives me the most excitement, gives me the most intrigue when I open. I feel the most happy when opening, in anticipation of opening set boxes, during the opening of set boxes and after opening. I think the set boxes give me the most joy. This doesn't get a 5-star, not because it's a poor product, but because it is like a bell curve. It has to be knocked down by even better magic products. So I can't give it a straight 5-star. But of course, if you compare it to other IPs, which I shall not name here, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, Kaldheim. So if you compare it to other IPs, so of course, this will be a straight up 5-star. Don't even need to see. This is a straight up 5-star. In terms of the concept, theme, quality, effort put in the product, this is a 5-star product. But if I'm going to review it and rank it this way, right, then every single magic product is going to be like 5-star. So there has to be a bell curve of some sort. And unfortunately, the distribution for the bell curve is what pushed Kaldheim down to 4 stars. But it is definitely way above average. Definitely a very, very good set to buy. Very good set to invest in, I would say. To keep also. To invest in, to keep, I have to say so. So, you don't have to agree with me. Okay? It is my opinion. But I have to say my opinion is right lah. So, please, okay, do help me to like and subscribe. I've got more videos coming up. I do review I'm starting to review other sets as well. So do give me a like and subscribe also. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay, bye-bye.